scientists may have found direct evidence of a dinosaur that died in the immediate aftermath.
Oh my God, look at that. Look, the scales are preserved.
While it seems highly improbable that these animals could still be around, there are many sightings and accounts, and I think we can't totally rule out the possibility.
Hiking through the wilderness often presents a chance to stumble upon the unknown, with every trail and hidden path holding the potential for bizarre and unexpected discoveries. On one such adventure, two nurses were trekking near a quiet stream when their dog, Sam, alerted them to something extraordinary in the water. This strange entity, measuring about 30 centimeters long, possessed a face that seemed unnaturally twisted, almost halfway around its head. Could the Earth still hide creatures beyond our current understanding? Join us as we investigate the mysteries that lurk in the dark shadows of our world. Mutant dinosaur relics under frozen Yukon ice. In a world filled with ordinary pictures, a strange thing caught my attention enough to share it. The odd-looking creature was found by two nurses while they were out hiking near a stream. Their dog Sam was the first to spot it in the water. They quickly snapped some photos of the peculiar creature, which was about 30 centimeters long and had a face that looked like it was halfway turned around. People online have come up with different ideas about what it could be. Some think it might be the famous Ogopogo, a legendary creature said to live in a nearby lake. Others believe it could be the mysterious Chupacabra, a creature from stories. And then, there are those who think it's just a wet bear cub or otter. Deep within an Alberta oil sands mine, where the noisy machines drown out all else, a simple worker stumbled upon something truly amazing. This unexpected find makes us wonder about the land we dig into for money. Among many old bones scattered across the lonely landscape, one caught attention, a piece from long, long ago, wrapped in the stories of the past. The worker uncovered Alberta's oldest and best-kept dinosaur fossil, showing us how much time has passed and how luck plays a part in our lives. When the fossil reached the Royal Tyrrell Museum, expert Don Henderson saw it with a mix of wonder and worry. It wasn't just any old thing. It was like a time capsule, holding stories from ages ago in its stone grasp. Realizing the importance of their discovery hit them like a bolt of lightning, a rare peek into a world we can only imagine. Yet, the journey to this revelation was tough and full of hard work. It took an incredible 7,000 hours, over 5 long years, to set the fossil free from its rocky home. Every gentle tap of the chisel and careful brush of dirt showed how people keep going even when nature seems too strong. But all the hard work paid off when they uncovered the fossil, its ancient shape kept as if by magic. This relic, alive 110 million years ago, means more than just history. It's like a door to the past, a picture of a time long before us, frozen in stone. Even though the mysterious Sasquatch has not been seen by many, its myth persists prominently in our shared awareness. Everyone has heard the tales, quietly spoken around campfires, and communicated in soft whispers. However, for those who doubt, a deeper look might be necessary. Consider, for example, the video recorded at a site said to be frequented by Sasquatch. While some might write it off as just guesswork, a detailed examination shows convincing evidence that suggests otherwise. As the figure in the video stands up from lying down, its way of walking shows clear human-like traits, a sign often linked to Bigfoot encounters. But it's not just the way the creature moves that supports its possible identity. On examining more closely, one can't overlook the small yet significant features that distinguish it from ordinary explanations. Take note of the barely visible hourglass shape marking its body, a detail rarely seen in the body structure of bears. This small but significant mark points to a being of unusual size, resembling the fabled Sasquatch more than any common bear species. In 2006, fossil hunters made an incredible find in Montana, USA, a well-preserved Tyrannosaurus rex and Triceratops horridus, appearing to be locked in battle from 67 million years back. This discovery happened in an area where the Rocky Mountains have often given up ancient secrets, proving to be a rich source of prehistoric remains. The Canadian Museum didn't waste any time in displaying these amazing pieces, bringing a snapshot of ancient life right before the eyes of the public. When these fossils were uncovered, it was clear that about 65% of the dinosaur skeletons were preserved. This included vital parts like the skull, teeth, and backbone, parts that often disappear in the fossil record because of natural decay and shifting earth. The Tyrannosaurus rex stood out for its impressive size. It was 13 meters long and weighed around 20,000 pounds. Surprisingly, it looked to have survived up to 30 years, making it both one of the biggest and oldest T-Rexes found to date. The setup of the exhibition was designed to dramatize the intense final moments of these two behemoths. Positioned as if frozen in time, the T-Rex and the Triceratops were displayed in a scene of attack and defense. The T-Rex, with its formidable teeth, sunk into the Triceratops' frill, while the Triceratops' horns pointed threateningly at its foe. This arrangement didn't just draw crowds, it also offered deep insights into the behaviors and environment of these ancient animals. The environment of the display depicted the lush and warm Cretaceous period vividly. During this era, dinosaurs were the rulers of the planet, and the T-Rex was a top predator, its size, powerful bite, and acute senses making it a formidable hunter. Researchers studying the damage on the fossils have put together likely scenarios for the battle. Hunger probably drove the T-Rex to attack the Triceratops, which might have been slowed by old age or sickness. These speculations help us understand the tough survival conditions these creatures faced. Preparing the fossils for display was a labor of love and science. Specialists spent countless hours carefully removing the surrounding rock and safely transporting the heavy fossils. Their reconstruction efforts were informed by the latest research in paleontology, which helped ensure the displayed dinosaurs were anatomically accurate, based on comparisons with other finds. This exhibit not only attracted lots of visitors, but also sparked discussions and debates about how dinosaurs behaved, their extinction, and the ecological dynamics of their time. The dynamic poses of the dinosaurs in the display highlight interaction and movement, making the scene more engaging and bringing the ancient drama to life. The display has been a boon for educational efforts. Schools from across Canada and even overseas have brought students to the museum where they can see history up close, beyond what books and films can offer. For educators, the exhibit provides real-world examples to discuss Earth's geological history, the evolution of life, and the role of museums in preserving these legacies. Visitors to the exhibit walk through a portal to the past, where every fossil tells the harsh yet intriguing story of dinosaur life. The museum enhances this experience with interactive touchscreens, showing animations of how these creatures moved and interacted with their environment, and audio stations that play the imagined sounds of the Cretaceous period. Besides the skeletons, the exhibit features detailed informational panels that outline the discovery of the fossils, their scientific importance, and the unique traits of the T-Rex and Triceratops that highlight their evolutionary development. These panels also explain how fossils are formed and their significance in piecing together the biological and geological history of the Earth. While the exhibit is impressive, it also raises questions about the balance between scientific accuracy and the need to captivate museum visitors. The Dueling Dinosaurs display serves as a center for both education and discussion, providing an immersive experience that encourages viewers to critically evaluate the stories told by fossil records. Continue into deeper corners where reality and myths mix, revealing creatures we thought were just legends. Woolly mammoth alive? This creature, supposedly extinct for 4,000 years, has been filmed in high definition, appearing to roam an anonymous landscape that ideally accommodates its immense size. The video's clarity and the detailed texture of the mammoth's fur make the image strikingly realistic and hard for many viewers to dismiss as fake. In this age where digital edits are routine and highly advanced, it's no surprise that a video showing a woolly mammoth alive today has spread across the web rapidly. The footage depicts what looks like a mammoth, an enormous creature thought to have vanished millennia ago, wandering an unspecified area that supports its large frame perfectly. The exceptionally clear video showcases the mammoth's fur with a texture so precise that it rivals the work of talented CGI artists. Both skeptics, and those simply curious, might view this video as definitive proof that mammoths still roam the earth. Yet, those who look closer might find reasons to doubt its authenticity. It's vital to consider both the content and the context. Digital platforms are notorious for prioritizing sensationalism over scientific accuracy, and editing footage to mislead or entertain is a common practice. The idea that a woolly mammoth has lived undetected in the modern world contradicts numerous scientific understandings. Several ecological and biological questions arise. What kind of environment today could possibly support such a massive animal? How could it have survived the significant climate changes and human development that have reshaped the Earth's landscape since its supposed extinction? The vague details about the video's origins also fuel skepticism. The absence of a specific location and the lack of information about when and how the footage was taken are typical of hoaxes, which rely on viewers' emotional responses and the viral nature of the content to spread misleading information. Considering the woolly mammoth's natural history, we know these animals were suited to the cold, Arctic conditions and lived in what are now Russia, North America, and parts of Europe. The radical climate changes over thousands of years make it extremely unlikely for any mammoth population to remain undetected by the comprehensive satellite surveillance and scientific explorations that continuously map our planet. For a small group of mammoths to survive, they would need not only a hidden habitat, but also a stable, breeding population that maintains genetic diversity, which is incredibly improbable. Moreover, the mammoth's diet, mainly vast amounts of vegetation, presents another significant challenge for their unnoticed survival in a non-Arctic secret place. From a technological viewpoint, today's capabilities for creating realistic digital content are both sophisticated and widespread, allowing skilled individuals to produce convincing, high-quality fakes. The software available can render lifelike textures and animations that can depict almost any imagined scenario convincingly. The mammoth shown in the video, while impressive, is likely just a product of digital artistry. The public's interest in de-extinction, or bringing extinct species back through genetic technology, adds a layer of believability to the video. Scientific projects like Revive and Restore aim to use DNA from preserved mammoth remains to potentially resurrect the species. Yet this research is in its infancy and has not achieved the resurrection of a living mammoth. This backdrop of scientific exploration might make the idea of a living mammoth seem plausible to the public. However, it is crucial to distinguish between speculative science and what is realistically and verifiably possible. The mammoth video likely highlights our capacity to create the illusion of reality rather than documenting an actual discovery. News outlets and educational platforms discussing this viral event must emphasize the difference between potential scientific advancements and the speculative or fictitious nature of such videos. Promoting critical thinking and skepticism helps ensure the public remains informed and can discern fact from fiction. The narrative of discovering a living mammoth taps into our collective intrigue with prehistoric life and the concept of de-extinction. Such presentations exploit our desire to experience the extraordinary and to be part of a historic moment. However, the real clash here is between science and spectacle. The conditions necessary for a woolly mammoth's survival over thousands of years would be nearly impossible to meet without being noticed because of the requirements regarding their habitat, climate, and diet. Furthermore, the undisclosed location of this sighting adds a layer of mystery and possibly deception. This lack of detail is a frequent strategy in hoaxes, aiming to dodge scrutiny by omitting specifics, which could reveal inconsistencies in the story. The shock value of the supposed discovery is indeed powerful. Witnessing a supposedly extinct creature casually walking in a high-definition video challenges our views of biology, history, and the natural world. This is what viral content thrives on: the incredible and questionable, not the mundane or easily explainable. The friends hoped for a simple day by the river, but a surprising find awaited them: the unexpected megalodon discovery on riverbank. Picture yourself wandering along a riverbank, looking for shiny crystals, when suddenly you find a huge prehistoric tooth instead. This isn't just any tooth. It belongs to the mighty megalodon, a monstrous shark that once roamed the ocean depths, instilling fear and awe. This is what happened to a group of friends by the Nato River. Their ordinary day turned extraordinary when they spotted what looked like a rough, ordinary stone. On a closer look, it turned out to be a gigantic tooth, about half the size of a human palm. This was no regular stone. It was a megalodon tooth, and its huge size was astonishing. The tooth's broken tip was a silent witness to the megalodon's violent life, suggesting it might have fought fiercely for territory or hunted large prey. The friends were thrilled with their discovery and quickly posted it on social media. Soon, experts and enthusiasts confirmed it was indeed from a megalodon, the enormous prehistoric shark that dominated the seas. Named Big Tooth in ancient Greek, the megalodon was a top predator. It was about 65 feet long, almost as long as a city bus, and had a massive jaw that could easily swallow 2 adults side by side. Just think about that the next time you go swimming in the ocean. But the story of the tooth goes beyond its discovery. This ancient relic reveals more than just the size and power of the megalodon. It gives us a glimpse into the life and environment of these sharks. The damaged tip of the tooth, for example, hints at the tough, competitive life under the sea. Megalodons were top predators, but they still had to battle other large marine creatures. And this tooth bears evidence of those fierce encounters. Megalodons lived from around 23 to 3.6 million years ago, during the Miocene to the Pliocene epochs. The warmer climates of these times supported rich marine ecosystems, perfect for a giant predator. The megalodon's strong body and powerful tail made it a fast, effective swimmer, capable of catching a wide range of prey, from whales to sea turtles and large fish. The diet of these sharks is apparent from the size of their teeth and the bite marks on the fossilized bones of their prey. By studying these bite marks, scientists have learned how megalodons hunted, often biting into the bones and fins of their prey to immobilize them. Their teeth were not just for eating, but also for displaying dominance and defending their territory. The teeth's size and serration patterns, sometimes over 7 inches long, helped paleontologists figure out the size and age of these incredible creatures. Today, finding a megalodon tooth is rare. Their fossils are often found submerged off coasts, in areas that were once underwater hunting grounds. Rivers that unearth these teeth usually flow through regions that were part of ancient seas. Tectonic movements and changing sea levels over millions of years have shifted these landscapes, exposing the ocean floor and these hidden treasures. The buzz that followed the discovery of the megalodon tooth on social media shows our lasting fascination with prehistoric life, particularly dinosaurs and other massive creatures. This discovery sparked conversations and debates about the lives and ecosystems of these ancient giants and the reasons behind their extinction. This discovery by untrained enthusiasts also highlights how our planet still holds many secrets, waiting to be uncovered not necessarily by experts, but by anyone who happens to be in the right place at the right time. This democratizes the excitement of discovery and makes paleontology accessible to the public imagination. Yet this accessibility can lead to problems. The thrill of such finds might overshadow their scientific value, leading to premature conclusions and mishandling of important artifacts. It's essential that such discoveries are treated with care, documented properly, and, if possible, handed over to professionals who can preserve and study them thoroughly, offering insights into not just megalodon's life, but also the ecological dynamics of their time. Coyote Peterson was on a usual hunt in the quiet forest, but stumbled upon something extraordinary. Coyote Peterson just found a gigantic skull. In the dense, dim forests of British Columbia, a region famed for its Bigfoot believers, Coyote Peterson, a well-known wildlife adventurer, happened upon what he first thought was a bear skull while hunting for an insect hive. Known for his television antics that usually involve enduring the painful stings of insects, Peterson found something that would quickly surpass these usual feats. As he inspected it more closely, Peterson's initial certainty turned to astonishment. He first thought aloud, "It is a bear. It is definitely a bear skull. Holy mackerel." However, upon further examination, he revised his hasty judgment, exclaiming, "Holy cow, dude, that is not a bear." Suddenly, he and his audience were possibly looking at one of the rarest finds ever, a skull that could belong to a Bigfoot. This claim, once aired and shared widely, ignited a whirlwind of speculation and debate. Could this enormous skull, far larger than those of the usual forest animals, be that of the legendary Sasquatch? The implications of such a find were thrilling, yet skepticism quickly clouded the initial excitement. Peterson's discovery delves into the realm of pseudoscience, where mythical creatures often appear more real than they are due to sensational storytelling. The skull's size, described as gigantic, fit perfectly with the mythic proportions associated with a Sasquatch, a creature often depicted as a massive, elusive figure lurking in the North American woods. The tendency to declare a find as momentous as a Bigfoot skull without rigorous scientific study is all too common in cryptozoology. This field, where fantastic creatures are often discovered, tends to prioritize sensationalism over systematic scientific methodology. This approach not only fuels the public's fascination with mysterious creatures, known as cryptids, but also often bypasses the stringent standards of scientific integrity. This blend of eager curiosity and the excitement of the unknown propels many to accept unverified claims. Coyote Peterson, with his reputation for thrilling, televised wildlife encounters, was at the heart of this controversial discovery. Accompanied by a film crew and driven by the anticipation of his audience, his expedition was set up for spectacular findings. However, this setup also made the expedition vulnerable to confirmation bias, a tendency to interpret information in a way that confirms one's preconceptions, seeing signs of the supernatural where there might be none. The episode unfolded with Peterson coming across what he prematurely identified as a bear skull, only to dramatically correct himself, suggesting it might be from a Bigfoot. This quick shift from bear to Bigfoot not only spiked the drama, but highlighted the entertainment-focused nature of televised adventure programs. Such dramatic flips are more about drawing in viewers than about careful scientific analysis. Critics were quick to question the legitimacy of the find, noting that the skull was found too conveniently in the path of a celebrity adventurer rather than a scientist. This setup seemed scripted, fitting more a reality TV scenario than a scientific discovery, which usually involves meticulous planning and verification. Moreover, the fact that this skull was discovered in a place already steeped in Bigfoot lore adds layers of doubt. The forests of British Columbia are rich in biodiversity, but are also famous for tales of Bigfoot, making any such discoveries there prone to extra skepticism. The ease with which the skull was found, almost as if it were planted for someone to find, raises suspicions about the authenticity of the discovery and the motives behind it. Additionally, the immediate choice to broadcast the find on social media, rather than securing the site and contacting experts, prioritized public spectacle over scientific protocol. This approach, which eschews the careful, private methods of genuine scientific inquiry for the instant gratification of social media buzz, undermines the credibility of the discovery. The public's reaction was mixed, with Bigfoot enthusiasts seeing it as validation of their beliefs, while the scientific community advised caution, recommending further analysis such as DNA tests and carbon dating to verify the skull's origins and age. This divide underscores a significant challenge in fields like cryptozoology, where the lines between myth and science are often blurred. A miner's usual day in the icy Yukon leads to an extraordinary Ice Age find. The last baby mammoth emerges from the frost. In the remote and icy expanse of Canada's Yukon Territory, a miner by the name of Travis Mudry made an incredible discovery. While digging through the permafrost, Travis came across a baby woolly mammoth, which had been frozen in time for some 30,000 years. This young mammoth, which he affectionately named Nunchogai, wasn't just another fossil. It was recognized as the most complete mammoth specimen ever found on the North American continent. Preserved nearly flawlessly by the icy conditions of the tundra, this mammoth immediately captured the attention of both the scientific community and the local people, including other miners and indigenous groups. The level of preservation was so extraordinary that it seemed as though the mammoth was merely sleeping, waiting to be found. The discovery sent waves of excitement across communities because it is exceedingly rare to find prehistoric creatures intact like this. However, this remarkable find did more than stir excitement. It also brought to the forefront a host of ethical and cultural dilemmas. For the local indigenous populations, this mammoth was not just an archaeological artifact to be studied. It was a piece of their cultural heritage, tied deeply to the land's history and their ancestors' stories. These stories and traditions potentially hold insights about the mammoth's life and the environment it lived in that could be just as valuable, if not more so, than the data derived from scientific methods. Travis's discovery also highlighted the ongoing gold rush mentality prevalent in these parts of the Yukon, where the rush to dig often precedes the consideration of cultural significance or scientific method. This mentality can lead to the destruction of invaluable archaeological sites and the loss of important cultural artifacts. In the excitement of such discoveries, the need for careful and respectful handling of these remains can sometimes be overlooked. These are not merely objects to be extracted, they are the remains of once living beings, woven into the fabric of what once was an ecosystem. The mammoth did more than just bridge the gap between the past and the present. It sparked essential conversations about the stewardship of such finds. Giving the indigenous community a voice in these discussions ensures that the research conducted is not only comprehensive, but also respectful and inclusive. This approach recognizes the mammoth's role as a connector of cultures and times, a pivotal point not just for scientific inquiry, but for cultural reconciliation. The preservation state of Nunchoga offers an unprecedented look into the past, particularly into the Ice Age's environmental conditions. The intact flesh, fur, and organs provide crucial biological data that can immensely aid our understanding of the climate, the species interactions, and the biodiversity of that era. These findings are crucial for reconstructing past ecosystems and can offer insights into how species like the woolly mammoth interacted within their environments. Yet we must approach these findings with a tempered reverence. The discovery of Nunchoga, while scientifically invaluable, also marks a loss, a reminder of extinct species and bygone environments that have been irrevocably changed or lost over millennia. Each of these discoveries is a poignant echo of what was, and a sobering reminder of what we stand to lose as our current environment faces unprecedented changes. Reflecting on Travis Mudry's experience, his serendipitous find highlights not just the dreams of many who hope to uncover hidden treasures, but also the realities faced by those who work the land. Miners like Travis are often on the front lines of such discoveries, yet their stories and the impacts of such finds on their lives are rarely acknowledged in the scientific narratives that follow. This intersection of science, history, and labor paints a multifaceted picture of paleontological discovery. It's a process that involves more than just unearthing ancient relics. It's about piecing together the stories of our planet in ways that respect both the cultures connected to the land and the scientific methods that help us understand our past. Nunchoga is thus not merely a point of curiosity or a subject under a microscope. It embodies the convergence of multiple narratives of history, culture, and science, and serves as a critical reminder of the layered complexity beneath our feet. This baby mammoth teaches us about the fragile balance between our quest for knowledge and our responsibility to honor and preserve the natural world. A routine film about mussels uncovers a century-old shipwreck in a clear lake. Where did the ghostly 1895 ship come from? In the shadowy depths of Lake Yan in Canada, a routine film project about invasive zebra mussels quickly transformed into an exceptional revelation for two filmmakers. Their mission to showcase the damaging impacts of these mussels on the lake's ecosystem led them to an unexpected find: a 128-year-old shipwreck. This vessel, a cargo ship on its ill-fated journey in 1895 from Ashtabula, Ohio, to Owen Sound, Ontario, was laden with coal but vanished into the cold waters of Lake Yan, never to complete its voyage. On that fateful morning in October 1895, as the ship set out, no one could have predicted its destiny to lie at the bottom of the lake, perfectly preserved, over a century later. The preservation of this ship is ironic. The clarity of the water around it, usually obscured by natural sediment and pollutants, has been rendered crystal clear not by efforts of conservationists or advances in technology, but by the very zebra mussels that the filmmakers were there to document. These mussels, native to Russia and Ukraine and notorious for their ecological destruction in North American waters, have colonized Lake Yan. Their filtration of the lake water, while harmful to native species and the ecological balance, has inadvertently provided a clear view of what lies beneath the lake's surface. This shipwreck, a relic from a bygone era, now sits exposed under conditions that ironically highlight the complex interactions between human activities, invasive species, and the environment. The ship, with its structural integrity intact and details vividly outlined against the purified waters, serves as a historical record, frozen in time yet unveiled under extraordinary circumstances. The zebra mussels, although an ecological menace, have become accidental preservationists. Their presence in the lake has turned the waters into a window to the past, revealing hidden secrets that were once cloaked by the murkiness typical of Lake Yan's waters. This situation is rich with irony. The invasive species, so vilified for their impact, are now to thank for the enhanced visibility of this shipwreck. They have cleaned the water to such an extent that it has facilitated an exploration of Lake Yan's depths that would have been impossible under the typically opaque conditions. This clear visibility has not only revealed the shipwreck more distinctly, but has also opened the possibility of exploring other submerged historical artifacts within the lake. However, the story of the shipwreck doesn't merely end with its discovery. It continues to contribute to the lake's ecosystem. The wreck now serves as a habitat for various species, integrating itself into the very environment that the zebra mussels are accused of destroying. It has become a part of the underwater landscape, a piece in the puzzle of Lake Yan's ecological web, a poignant reminder of the dual nature of human impact. Our actions can create as well as destroy. This shipwreck underscores the importance of careful environmental management and the need for vigilance in the transport and introduction of non-native species. The clear waters, though visually appealing and revealing of our maritime history, also signal an ecosystem in distress. This clarity is a warning, a reminder of the fragile balance we must maintain in our interactions with nature. In documenting this find, the filmmakers have captured a piece of history, a ghostly image from the past, preserved not by ice or desert sands, but by the invasive species they aimed to expose. This shipwreck from 1895, which sank without a trace only to be revealed by the unintended actions of zebra mussels, tells a complex tale of ecological and historical layers. This discovery highlights a peculiar twist of fate. The organisms responsible for significant ecological damage have simultaneously performed a service to history by preserving and unveiling a past long buried beneath the waves. It illustrates the intricate and often unexpected ways in which the introduction of non-native species can affect our natural water bodies. Did the zebra mussels do more good than harm by uncovering the shipwreck? Or is their ecological threat still too great? Like, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more intriguing discoveries.